The brisk autumn air carried a sense of anticipation as I disembarked from the ferry at Staten Island in 1999. My purpose? Installing one of my children's museum exhibits at Sailors Snug Harbor, an old U.S. Navy retirement village steeped in history. As I gazed across the water, the imposing Twin Towers stood proudly in Manhattan, tempting me with the possibility of a weekend visit once my work was complete. The campus, a labyrinth of time-worn buildings, welcomed me, its aged bricks and cobbled paths resonating with the stories of retired admirals and men in blue who had once roamed these grounds. Among these historic structures stood a relic of a bygone era, a brick Georgian house from 1835, my temporary abode, courtesy of the museum project. For 2 weeks, I became a resident of this maritime haven, taking the ferry each day and immersing myself in the cultural heritage surrounding Sailors Snug Harbor. The library, Grand Hall, parade grounds, and the solemn hospital and graveyard all echoed tales of a life well lived, a fitting final port of call for the valiant men in blue. As the days unfolded, the shadows of the past danced with the present, and the towering silhouette of the Twin Towers framed my thoughts. Little did I know that this historic sojourn would lead me to encounter not only the echoes of naval history but also the enigmatic twists of the unknown that lurked within the confines of Sailors Snug Harbor. Chapter 2, The Admiral's House. The passage of time at Sailors Snug Harbor seemed to carry with it an aura of both reverence and mystery. Each morning, I found myself enveloped in the history that clung to the air, as if the echoes of bygone conversations lingered in the whispers of the wind. My temporary residence, the retired Admiral Rank House, stood as a silent witness to the tales woven into the fabric of Sailors Snug Harbor. The brick Georgian structure, dating back to 1835, exuded an air of dignified elegance. Its walls held secrets, and its rooms echoed with the footsteps of those who once called it home. The large campus unfolded before me, revealing not just a house, but a narrative that transcended time. Within the confines of the campus, civic buildings added to the grandeur, the library, a repository of knowledge, the Grand Hall, witness to gatherings both joyous and somber, parade grounds, where tales of valor and discipline were etched into the very earth. The hospital, a final sanctuary for the men in blue, and the graveyard, a solemn resting place, spoke of the sacrifices made and the lives lived in service. As I moved through the Admiral's house, I couldn't help but feel a connection to the storied past. The creaking floorboards seemed to share their memories, and the aged walls whispered tales of leadership, camaraderie, and the inevitable passage of time. Each room was a chapter, and I was a transient reader, absorbing the rich narrative that surrounded me. In those moments, as I worked on my museum exhibit, the Admiral's house became more than just a shelter. It became a time capsule, preserving the essence of a bygone era. I often found myself contemplating the lives that had unfolded within its walls, the decisions made, the stories exchanged, and the silent moments of introspection. The days passed with a rhythmic cadence, and Sailors Snug Harbor began to feel like a second home. Yet, beneath the surface of the familiar, subtle currents of mystery started to weave their way into my experience. Little did I know that within the embrace of this historic haven, a series of events would unfold, leading me down a path marked by unexpected twists and enigmatic revelations. Chapter 3, Lights, Camera, Action. The days at Sailors Snug Harbor took on a captivating rhythm, marked by the ebb and flow of history that surrounded me. Little did I suspect that the historical tapestry I was weaving would intersect with the transient world of cinema, casting an unexpected spotlight on the Admiral's house. One morning, as I prepared to embark on my daily journey from Manhattan, a buzz of activity greeted me. An independent film crew had descended upon the campus, their cameras and equipment transforming the serene surroundings into a makeshift movie set. The air was charged with anticipation, and the Admiral's house, with its dignified charm, had caught the attention of the filmmakers. The film crew, a bustling ensemble of creatives, sought to capture the essence of a bygone era, utilizing the timeless backdrop provided by Sailors Snug Harbor. The exterior shots they required included scenes of carriages arriving and departing, actors gracefully stepping in and out of frame, and strolls towards the imposing entrance of my house. It appeared that my museum day aligned with the demands of their shoot, creating a peculiar synergy between the realms of historical preservation and cinematic storytelling. As I embarked on my museum duties, the film crew prepared to immerse themselves in their own creative venture. Our days mirrored each other in length, stretching from 12 to 18 hours, and as I left the premises in the early morning light, the production assistants were just arriving to set up the location. A peculiar sense of duality unfolded, my work as a museum exhibit installer and their quest to capture fleeting moments for the silver screen. Upon my return that night, the film crew had completed their mission, leaving only traces of their presence. I discovered a modest compensation of $100, a token gesture for the temporary use of the Admiral's house. The location manager, visibly relieved at the low cost, expressed gratitude, and I, in turn, shared a sense of camaraderie, revealing that I was a local 16IA guy from the West Coast. Our days had synchronized seamlessly, and my lack of expectation for compensation during my stay seemed to forge a connection. The remnants of the film crew's occupation lingered, a partially filled trash bag, short water bottles scattered throughout the house, and the persistent hum of house flies. It seemed the crew or actors had indulged in food within the confines of the house, leaving behind an odd residue. The front door, undoubtedly propped open for scenes, allowed the winged intruders to make themselves at home. Tired but undeterred, I set about addressing the intrusion of flies in the bedroom. It was a nocturnal challenge. The incessant buzzing of B-52-sized flies disrupted my attempts at a peaceful slumber. Observing their behavior, I realized they were drawn to the partially consumed water bottles left behind by the film crew. In a weary effort, I sealed the bottles and opened the window facing the streetlight, hoping to coax the uninvited guests out. A few minutes later, as the room plunged into silence, I closed the window and settled into bed, eager for a night undisturbed. Little did I know that the stillness of the night would soon be shattered by an unexpected symphony emanating from the depths of the admiral's house, the rhythmic cadence of a washing machine, pulsating through the silence and beckoning me to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface. Chapter 4: A Strange Residue. The morning sun painted the walls of the admiral's house with a warm glow, obscuring the events of the restless night. However, as I descended the creaking staircase to greet the new day, an unsettling scene awaited me. The remnants of the film crew's visit lingered like spectral echoes, manifesting in the form of production detritus scattered across the house. A partially full trash bag adorned the corner of the room, a silent testament to the bustling activity that had unfolded within the walls. Short water bottles, each holding barely more than a couple of swallows, were scattered indiscriminately. The discarded twist caps lay nearby, forming a bizarre mosaic of ephemeral hydration. It was as if the crew had left behind a peculiar trail of their presence, a mosaic of half-drunk bottles and forgotten caps. The air within the house hummed with the residual energy of their creative endeavors. I could almost envision actors delivering lines, directors orchestrating scenes, and the distinct sound of a clapperboard punctuating the air. It seemed the crew had recorded dialogues within the house, a sip of water between lines, a brief pause for reflection, and the repetitive request for more bottles, all interwoven into the fabric of the admiral's home. However, the most perplexing aspect was not the traces of the film crew's activities but the peculiar congregation of houseflies that now seemed to claim dominion over the rooms. Their incessant buzzing echoed through the hallways, a testament to a feast that had transpired in the shadows. The front door, left ajar during the shoot, had invited these winged intruders, transforming the house into an unintended banquet hall for the tiny aviators. In a tired yet determined state, I embarked on a mission to rid the bedroom of these uninvited guests. The buzzing symphony of B-52-sized flies had become a persistent lullaby, and it was clear they had indulged in the offerings left behind by the film crew. Sealing the partially consumed water bottles in the bedroom provided a temporary reprieve, yet the atmosphere remained tinged with an eerie disquiet. As I inspected the house, an unexpected realization dawned upon me. The front door, having served as a portal for both humans and flies alike, was a silent witness to the intrusion. The film crew's departure had been swift, in and out just as promised, leaving me $100 richer but accompanied by an odd residue and an army of winged companions. The house, now a stage for memories both scripted and spontaneous, bore witness to a confluence of histories, the historical tales of naval admirals and the transient narratives woven by filmmakers. The admiral's house, a silent observer, stood at the crossroads of these intersecting stories, its walls holding secrets that extended beyond the tangible residue of a film crew's visit. As the day unfolded, the house seemed to settle into a newfound stillness, the flies subdued but lingering, a subtle reminder of the recent convergence of worlds within its confines. Unbeknownst to me, this peculiar intersection would serve as a prelude to more enigmatic revelations, propelling me further into the uncharted territories of Sailors Snug Harbor. Chapter 5: Midnight Symphony. The tranquility of the evening descended upon the admiral's house, and as the shadows lengthened, I sought solace in the embrace of my bed. However, the stillness was soon shattered by an unexpected symphony that echoed through the silence, the rhythmic cadence of a washing machine emanating from the depths of the basement. In the dark hours of the night, I found myself drawn to the mysterious melody echoing through the creaking floorboards. The washing machine's mechanical lullaby carried an eerie familiarity, as if it whispered secrets long buried beneath the foundations of Sailors Snug Harbor. Fill, agitate, stop, empty, spin, rinse. The ritualistic cycle unfolded like a nocturnal hymn, each phase punctuating the quietude of the night. Curiosity tugged at my resolve, compelling me to investigate the source of this enigmatic nocturnal activity. I descended into the basement, a space suspended in time with its dangling bare bulbs casting elongated shadows reminiscent of a Hitchcockian setting. The unfinished floor hinted at the age of the structure, and in its quiet corners, history seemed to linger, waiting to be unveiled. Amidst the dim illumination, two ordinary-looking laundry machines stood as silent sentinels, connected with modern fittings that clashed with the antiquity of their surroundings. The whirring and clinking sounds echoed through the air as the machines dutifully executed their mechanical ballet. I approached the washer, drawn by an inexplicable compulsion to lift its lid and reveal the secrets concealed within. To my amazement, the washer drum was not filled with the usual garments awaiting cleansing but rather with sand and glacier gravel, a peculiar payload that seemed out of place in the laundry routine. The coarse mixture, akin to the geological features of New York State, lay undisturbed, a silent testimony to an unconventional choreography taking place in the dead of night. Perplexed, I couldn't fathom the purpose behind such an unusual load. Was it a clandestine operation, a peculiar ritual, or perhaps an attempt to obscure an even stranger truth? The mysteries within Sailors Snug Harbor seemed to extend beyond the historical narratives and film crews, reaching into the very infrastructure of the admiral's house. As I ascended from the basement, the eerie ambience lingered, and the night whispered secrets that eluded the grasp of understanding. The juxtaposition of the ancient and the contemporary, the mundane and the mysterious, fueled a growing sense of unease. And as the first light of dawn painted the horizon, I couldn't shake the feeling that the washing machine's nocturnal symphony was but a prelude to a greater enigma waiting to unfold within the confines of Sailors Snug Harbor. Chapter 6: Omen in a Bottle. The morning light filtered through the curtains, casting a gentle glow on the rooms of the admiral's house. Despite the revelations of the night, a facade of normalcy clung to the air, as if the mysteries woven into the fabric of Sailors Snug Harbor were meant to remain shrouded. As I prepared for another day, the peculiar residue of the film crew's visit still lingered, a visual reminder of the intersection between my world of museum exhibits and the transient realm of cinema. The partially full trash bag and abandoned water bottles, once props in the celluloid narrative, now assumed a surreal significance within the historical abode. The house, a silent witness to the convergence of narratives, harbored an otherworldly energy that clung to the air like a lingering mist. The flies, subdued but persistent, added a discordant note to the otherwise serene setting. The admiral's house, it seemed, had become a repository of tales both scripted and spontaneous, its walls echoing with the footprints of those who had passed through. As I moved through the rooms, the sealed water bottles I had left the night before caught my eye. One of them held a peculiar sight, a big dead housefly, floating on its back, preserved in the stagnant water. It was a haunting tableau, an unintentional capsule frozen in time. The discovery sent shivers down my spine, a disconcerting omen that seemed to beckon towards an unseen realm. The connection between the sealed bottle and the washing machine's mysterious contents resonated with an inexplicable symbolism. It felt as if the house itself was attempting to communicate, using subtle and cryptic signs to draw attention to the enigma that lay beneath its surface. I contemplated the implications of the dead housefly, a silent messenger, a harbinger of something beyond the realm of ordinary understanding. The convergence of the film crew's residue, the nocturnal symphony of the washing machine, and now this unsettling discovery, formed a tapestry of mystery that defied rational explanation. With a sense of foreboding, I embarked on another day of museum work, the weight of the unknown resting on my shoulders. The admiral's house, once a temporary refuge, now harbored a secret language, and I found myself entangled in its cryptic whispers. The historical significance of Sailors Snug Harbor, the cinematic interlude, and the nocturnal symphony had become threads in a narrative that was unraveling before my eyes. As I stepped out into the daylight, the admiral's house stood silent and enigmatic, its secrets held close like a well-guarded treasure. Little did I know that this unsettling journey was far from over, and that the omens embedded within the sealed bottle were merely the prelude to a deeper and more mysterious exploration of Sailors Snug Harbor.